welcome to Season 3 of Local Focus here. I'm your host, Sebastian Noel. I can't believe we're almost at 100 episodes and we have not gotten canceled yet. I think our director, Josh, has only ever had to edit out like one cuss word. Everything else has been smooth sailing. We've almost made it to 100 episodes. We're excited to be back, just like the football season's back. And week one had a lot of special performances. One of the more special ones came from my guest today. That is the quarterback at West Mesa High School, Elijah Brody. Elijah, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Man, let's start right there. What a week, right? You got on
sir.
the new colors, right? New teammates, week one under the lights. Take us through that experience.
It was exciting, you know, coming out with my new group and definitely being out there performing, bringing new West Mesa to the west side and to the community.
I think you only had 2 incomplete passes, right? So over 200 yards passing. You rushed for a couple of touchdowns. You threw for 3. Everything seemed to be working. When did you feel that right away, or how long did it take to settle in?
Definitely after that first drive, we went down and scored. Pretty efficient drive. I felt real good after that.
And then you kind of spread the wealth, right? And then you got some on the ground, and then you got a couple of different receivers involved. So how good was it to see? We talked a little bit before the show. It was good to see that confidence and that swagger on a West Mesa sideline that we don't see that often, right? So could you feel that from your teammates, and how good was that to see?
Yes, sir. You know, we got a lot of weapons, so we could spread the wealth to a lot of people, or we got a good group of receivers and backs. So definitely, when we came out, had that big lead, it's definitely good to see those guys' spirits lift up and feel like they can compete at a high level.
I mean, you came from a place where winning is all you knew.
Yeah.
So just to step right into week one, new school, you continue that winning, that had to be a big relief for you, and I know it had to be great for the campus and the community.
Yes, sir. You know, like I said, we just want to bring that good motto back to the west side of the community. Definitely just want to bring a expect to win attitude. You know, when you win a lot, you get that little moxie, that confidence. So we rather expect to win than be shocked to win.
Plus, and we'll talk more about that culture piece, right? That expect to win versus shock to win. But how cool was it to, get your dad off to a 1-0 start as a head coach?
Very cool, very cool. You know, we get in the car after the game. He gives me a little fist bump, and we realize we're here and, we're in the moment.
And then you look up, and there was actually a really big crowd on hand too, right? So
yes.
Talk about that.
Well, I was talking to our principal. They said that was like the most they've seen in the stands in a while. So it's good that we're bringing like a good rep for the school.
Right. And you obviously, we're filming this before your Volcano Vista game. When this airs, it'll be the Monday after your Volcano Vista game, and you'll be preparing for the Cibola game. But you have a nice you get this nice feel-good winning in Santa Fe, taking nothing away from Santa Fe, but definitely a step up in competition the next 2 weeks,
yes,
right?
Sir. Yes, sir. Most definitely. We know that Volcano's a different beast than Santa Fe, so we're definitely preparing physically, mentally. The speed of the game is going to be up from last week, so definitely harping on those things right now.
Plus, as a competitor and a quarterback, I mean, you got to be a little hyped to know that you're facing Elliot Paskett-Bell, who had a really nice week.
Good. Yes,
and
sir.
then, of course, the golden child, right? Aiden Chavez in week 3.
Yes, sir.
So what do you think about that?
Those are both really good quarterbacks in Elliot and Aiden, so it's definitely going to be good to go out there and compete against those two guys and see how I stack up against the top quarterbacks in the state.
Now, you've been around those guys, right? I mean, especially Aiden, he's been here in New Mexico for a while. You've been in New Mexico for a while. So have your paths crossed before in youth years?
We used to play in a little flag league a while back, like a middle school, elementary days. I never got to play against him in Yaffle, though, but definitely played a couple games against him in the flags and stuff like
so
that.
This one's for real. This is the one that
Yes,
counts.
Yes, sir.
So you sound pretty excited about that. Let's go back to your youth days, though. You talked about Yaffle. So where did it start? When did you start playing football? What other sports did you play?
Well, my first sport was soccer. I played I-9 soccer when I was about 5, and I started playing football first grade. My first grade year, I played with Rio Rancho and a couple guys that go to Rio Rancho in Cleveland. And ever since that, I've been playing football every year since then.
Okay. But you hoop also, right? So
yes,
when did you start that?
I started playing basketball 5th grade. I started playing with Amari Brown and Daniel Steverson and Jalen Hall in the AAU team. That's when I started playing hoops.
That's not a shabby team. That's a pretty good team, huh?
At all.
Yeah.
Real
they don't
good.
let scrubs play on that team,
sir,
do they?
No, sir.
So you must be pretty good at those things, too. All right. So when did you, did you start having a favorite early on as a kid, or did you just do it all as a kid?
I feel like I definitely had a favorite growing up as a kid. Mom showing me pictures of me in a diaper, pads, and helmet. So definitely football's always been my thing.
Obviously, that had to be helped by your dad playing at UNM, right?
Yes,
so
sir.
football has always been a thing, right?
Yes,
so
sir.
when what are your youngest football memories of your dad, whether that be at playing for the Lobos or in his indoor football career?
My earliest memory would probably be in his indoor football career. Definitely just going out to the games, the atmosphere of the indoor league, seeing guys bang against that wall instead of, getting pushed out of bounds. And then he is in one of the NCAA football games, so, being able to play with him in a video game was pretty cool as well.
Oh, he's in an NCAA? Okay, what are his ratings in that game?
I think he's I think they did him pretty good, like an 84, 85 overall.
Wow,
so I think he's in the mid 80s.
That's pretty strong.
Yeah.
Like that, how does that compare to like some of the big names that maybe we would know? Like, do you ever compare him in the game? To
I look at him. I tried to compare him to Reggie Bush.
Okay,
but
what was the
Reggie Bush like a 99 overall?
Okay, but I mean 84.
Not bad.
That's pretty good.
Yes, sir.
I mean, if I was your dad, I'd be advertising that.
Yo, most definitely, most definitely.
That's pretty good. All right, we'll take our first time out. We got a lot to get to. I want to get to that transition from Cleveland to West Mesa. I want to get to that culture that you're trying to bring to West Mesa. Much more with Elijah Brody when we get back.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop. Fish, birds, cats, dogs, reptiles, and small animals. Clark's has built a tradition of friendly, knowledgeable service focused on affordable, quality pet care products and food. Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations for all your pet needs, including an extensive selection of gifts for both owners and pets. 11200 Manal Northeast or 4914 Lomas Northeast. Clark's Pet Emporium is celebrating 50 years. Thank you, Albuquerque, the Pet Supply Superstore. ClarksPets.com.
Tops them all. When your roof's worn out and needs to be replaced, we're gonna do it right, put a smile on your face. There at home, things are looking up when you get your roof done by someone you can trust. Dream Style, a company name that's been around forever. No one does it better. You need a new roof, you know who to call. Dream Style Roofing, tops them all. For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number 1 in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all at Valley Fence Company.
Back with West Mesa's Elijah Brody. That's going to take a while to get used to, but you keep winning, it's going to be natural,
Yes, sir.
right?
Hopefully, yes, sir.
Right? So talk about that transition. Obviously, you go from a place like Cleveland where when they lose, everything just stops, to West Mesa, right? Let's talk about that decision. First of all, was it an automatic slam dunk when your dad got that job, or was there real discussions about it? Like, hey, maybe I could stay. This is a really good place. What was that like?
At first, like the first week that he got it, I was definitely hesitant at first. You know, wanted to stay with a group that I knew, I could compete in both sports that I played. And then after a while, I was able to play a 7-on-7 team with some of the West Mesa guy receivers and stuff. So that definitely won me over in making the transition to West Mesa.
So no regrets?
No, sir, not at all.
So tell me about first time on campus. Let's do that. First time on campus, then first time in practice.
First time on campus, it was different because of the block schedule from the regular going to class every day. But it wasn't that bad. You know, it's just at the end of the day, it's still school. Got to sit in the front of class, get the work done.
Right. What about first time in practice? First time with the guys?
Just the energy in the practice was a lot different. You know, some guys was moping around, walking around, definitely the energy of the practice was a lot different from where I've been at.
I mean, and obviously that's where you got to be helping your dad a lot too. I know I have the good fortune of knowing your dad through the Gladiators.
Yes, sir.
And his leadership style, I love it. Like, he's the perfect man for that job. So, but I'm assuming that you're helping out with that piece as well, because away from your dad, you came from this other winning program, right?
Yeah.
And so you kind of have a double-sided attack, if you will, right?
Yeah.
So we talked about some of those differences in practice, but what about, I know Cleveland's real big on tradition and then the weight room, right? Those are the two things over there, tradition and the weight room. So maybe West Mesa doesn't have the football tradition, right?
Yep.
But what about weight room? What have you taken from Cleveland to West Mesa? What were the differences? What does that look like?
Definitely bringing a lot of intensity and energy in the weight room. When you're in the weight room, you definitely got to work. That's where you get stronger, faster, quicker, protect your body. So definitely bringing a lot of intensity, get a lot of sets in, get as much reps as you can, and finish your work.
What about team dynamics, team chemistry? Because obviously you don't want to be looked at as, okay, the guy from, walk around with the ring, right?
Yeah,
Here's my Cleveland ring, kiss it,
Yeah.
right? So you don't want to walk around like that. So getting the guys to embrace you and buy in and bond, how did that happen?
Just conversations with them on and off the field, trying to get that connection. Just trying to find
Just
common
vibing,
interests.
right?
Yeah,
How
just
you
trying to
vibe.
find common interests with
Right.
the guys. So it's not like, we're only cool when we're on the football field. Like I can say what's up to all the guys off
Right.
the football field at school and whatnot.
And then obviously your dad has his team dynamic piece, which I see on your wrist.
Yes, sir. The
Right, I
wristbands.
see. It looks very familiar
Yes,
because it's from the
sir.
Gladiators. Can you explain? So you're wearing a wristband. It has red, green, and blue. Can
Yes,
you
sir.
explain that? I know that came from the Gladiators, and your dad and Coach Bramante have been preaching this for a long time. But can you explain that to our audience?
Yes, sir. So I'll start with the red. So red is the guys that, when the coach isn't looking or the teacher isn't looking, they'll stop doing the right thing. Like the guys, these are guys you don't want around your program. And so the green would be the guys that could be persuaded to red or blue depending on who they hang out with. If they hang out with a lot of reds, then they can start acting like red. If they hang out with a blues, they could be blues. And then the blues are the guys that you want in your program. You want them to be hard on the red so they could get up to green and then hopefully get up to blue and get the greens up to the blue. And these are the guys that you want that are going to do the right thing no matter what.
So how was that when your dad explained that to the team? Obviously, you've heard it before.
Yes, sir.
From the Gladiators,
Yes,
right?
sir.
But when he introduced that piece, because I think it's a phenomenal team thing. I know Coach Urban Meyer did something similar, right? But so when he introduced that and he busted out the wristbands.
Yes, sir.
What's weird? Coach Bramante only gave me a red one. What do you think he meant by that?
You might be working. He might need you to work to get the green.
Okay, all right, because he only ever gave me a red one.
Yes, sir.
So when your dad busted out the wristbands and explained that to the team, how was that?
It's definitely an eye opener for you. When you hear the story, you really start to think about when you're in certain situations, how you act in those situations. So definitely, if you're in a situation you don't want to be in, or a situation you're not familiar in, you could just look down at your wrist and be blue in this situation. Do the right thing. So definitely a good eye opener for you.
Now I know you guys are only 1 week into the season, so this question might be a little early or unfair, but have you guys gotten to a point yet where, I know on the Gladiators, when something didn't go right, you start having some of the blues point out, hey, that's red behavior. We don't want red behavior. Or guys are holding themselves accountable saying, oh, no, that's red behavior. Have you guys gotten there yet? Is that a work in progress? What has that started to look
I
like?
definitely feel like we are getting to the point where we hold each other accountable. Not letting people be red, at school or when we're going to watch another game, doing the right things because, at the end of the day, it's a brand and, you got that West Mesa hoodie on or that T-shirt on. And so you want to have a good brand for the school.
Okay, so let's, since you brought it up, what would be an example of red behavior? Like, let's say you're at another football game. You mentioned going to other games. What would red behavior be?
It'd be like cursing, yelling at the messing with people, messing with parents, just making a fool of yourself, basically.
Okay. I feel like a lot of parents are reds.
Yeah.
Okay.
You won't lie. That's not a lie,
Right? Maybe we hand out some of those
Might have
to
to.
parents.
Might have
All right,
to.
what's an example of green behavior in that scenario?
Green would be, you're around some red guys that are acting a fool and you don't do nothing, but you're not. You
But you
might
tolerate
not.
it.
Yeah, you're tolerating. You're not like, hey guys, quit it out. You're just sitting there, not really paying them no mind.
Okay, and then blue behavior.
Is obviously the guys that would be pointing it out, like, hey, stop acting a fool. Like, let's just watch the games. We got, like I said, that brand on your chest, that West Mesa. Got to rep the school. And
I think you did a great job explaining that.
Appreciate it.
I've always enjoyed when Coach Bramante explained it. I've heard your dad talk about
Yes,
it,
sir.
and I think you've done a great job explaining it as well. So But how does that come in on the field? Because I know that was always something Coach Bramante and your dad always talked about is, well, we do all this during practice and in our life, so when the game starts and we're in a red situation, we don't act red. So explain that to our audience, how it translates
In a
onto the
game
field,
situation.
end of a game situation.
So for a red in a game situation would be the guy that if guys start to get chirpy, no matter the point, like the score, let's say we're up a lot and the other team getting a little chirpy, doing late hit stuff, it's the guy that will retaliate and chirp back or do dirty stuff as well. That would be a red in a game situation.
You guys had some penalties last week
Yes,
against
sir.
Santa
We
Fe.
did, we did.
So did your dad say, hey,
we
that's
def-
red behavior?
We definitely had a talk after the game, and then in film when we look back at watching it, we definitely had a talk about that.
So you're at that point now where you guys can watch film and you guys can call each other out and say, hey, that's red behavior.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So you feel like you're in a good place?
Yeah, yes, sir. Most definitely.
All right. Well, we appreciate you going through all that. We'll take another time out here with Elijah. We've got a lot more to cover. We do want to talk about that state championship season at Cleveland, and then we want to talk some hoops too. So we'll be right back with Elijah Brody.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of Proview Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of Proview Sports.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of Proview Sports.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of Proview Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
Turbo Threads is a proud sponsor of Proview Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. Turbo Threads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for Turbo Threads.
Back with Mustangs quarterback Elijah Brody. I do want to talk about the Cleveland years because obviously they had to have been fun years for you. Winning program there, a championship. Talk about the Cleveland years.
Definitely, like you said, winning a lot of championships. You know, getting rings is definitely a big part of their tradition that they have over there.
And it really all starts with that, right? The tradition, and then they just build on that, right? So talk about the culture there, and what did you learn as a young student athlete in your time at Cleveland that you're trying to continue now at West Mesa and probably in college?
Definitely the expectation to win, you know, having that swagger with you, and, you know, reloading guys instead of having to feel like a rebuild. You just have those guys who are ready to just take a senior spot as soon as they leave.
Right. Who was the hardest person to tell that you were leaving Cleveland? Was it a classmate? Was it a coach? Was it a teacher?
Definitely my teammates. Those are my teammates, because, you know, you play with those guys. You, as a teammate, you have a very close bond. All those hours you spend with that person. So it's definitely hard to tell them that I'd be leaving.
Did you get a lot of? You're going where?
A couple. Yeah, there's a couple.
Okay.
There's a couple.
All right, and so you guys make the move. Does your dad ever tap into that experience? Does your dad ever ask you, hey, you know, what did you guys do over here? Does that ever happen?
He definitely uses how when we played West Mesa my sophomore year at Cleveland, how we beat him like right before the third quarter ended, and we kind of used that as motivation, you know, to like at that point like we didn't feel sorry for beating those guys that bad, so we definitely use it as motivation to never be in that point again and never feel that way ever again.
You also left a very good basketball program there at Cleveland. So talk about that. Growing up in that basketball program, you probably were, even though they were they were ahead of you, but you probably grew up around guys like Amir Muhammad, Jalen Munn in that gym, right?
Yeah.
So talk about that.
Definitely learning from those guys that, you know, got to play at the college level and like the experience and the knowledge of the game that they have.
Now, the word on the street is that West Mesa is going to be a damn good basketball team this year. Like that, every coach I've talked to and even some players are like, hey, West Mesa is the school to watch. So give us a little sneak preview into that.
We got a good squad with us. Okay. You know, we got a good group. Donovan Cruz, Brandon Lagunas, Sonny Ortiz, Micah Munoz, Darian Trujillo, Elijah Espinoza. We got a real good group. You know, we can shoot well. We swing the ball really well. We like to run the floor. And I say we defend pretty well.
And I'd say it's a pretty different system, right? Because you go from Cleveland tends to be a little more ISO,
yes, sir.
Where West Mesa, they're really spacing it and just chucking up threes, right?
Yeah, yes, sir.
And so you'll be the biggest guy on the court there for West Mesa. So what do you do to that floor spacing? And that's got to be pretty fun to play in that system.
Yeah, so definitely, you know, being able to spread out, you know, if I get a smaller guy on me, I get the ball, I can make a move. If the defense collapses, I can kick it out to a shooter. I know that can hit a good shot.
All right, next steps. Obviously, your dad played Division I football, so I would imagine that's a goal of yours.
Yes, sir, most definitely.
So tell me about that. I mean, how long has that been a goal?
Ever since I could play the college games, I've always been like, oh, I want to go play for Stanford or I want to go play for Auburn. Mm-hmm. So definitely, just ever since I could be able to like really comprehend and watch those games, it's always been a dream of mine.
Your dad was an 84 in the video game.
Yes, sir.
Like if we made a Proview Networks football game, like what would you say your overall rating would be right now? If you
hopefully a high 80s, like an 88, hopefully.
All
88.
Right. If you were writing your own scouting report, let's say you're a college coach, you're writing your own scouting report. What do you do well? What do you do better than most? And what are you still trying to work on?
What I do well, I feel like my ability to make the first man miss. You know, I feel like one-on-one in open field, I got that mentality where no one's gonna take me down. So that's definitely something I like to harp on.
That run you had, 32 yards.
Yes, sir.
It seems like every trick in the bag came out. You had
yes,
you had the cut, then you had a spin, you had a pretty nasty stiff,
arm,
like everything
yes,
on that one play, right?
Yep. So definitely my running ability once I get out the pocket, my knowledge of the game, you know, being able to read the defense, and then something I'd say was one of my weaknesses, just confidence and not rushing myself for sure.
Okay. All right. So would you love that call? How would it look when you get to tell your dad, hey, your alma mater called? Is that something that you think about, playing at the same place as your dad?
Every once in a while, yeah, I do. It'd definitely be crazy, you know, being able to play under the same program that my dad did, and you know they got a few coaches back like Rocky Long, so definitely being to play for some guys that he played for as well.
And kids want to play here now, right? I know there was a while, you know, the previous administration, no one wanted to play for Coach Davey, right? But now it seems like Rocky and Danny, they got you guys excited again.
Sir,
like you want to stay home, right?
Yes, sir, most definitely. They're doing a good job right now.
So what does that recruiting look like? You kind of just let that happen? Has your dad helped you with that?
I kind of just let it happen, you know, getting my name out there at camps and sending my film to coaches as much as I can.
Well, what do you have in store for weeks 2 and 3? Because it's going to be hard to top week 1.
Yes, sir. You know, just to play our game, go with the flow, go with the game plan. Don't try to match what I did this week 1. Just try to get the win. Play to get the win.
Well, we appreciate you coming in. Again, fantastic first week. Couldn't be happier for you. Couldn't be happier for that community and, of course, your dad as well.
Yes,
thank you so much for coming in.
Appreciate you having me.
Thank you for watching, and good night, everybody.
left hand by Canales off the ropes.
Right hand, left hook again by Gonzalez. And the left hook is...
Canales, let's see if Rios can
They're going to stop it.
Canales right in front of us here.
They're going to stop
That's it.
I told you.
That's it. David Gonzalez
those
is
left
going
hooks
to
to the
stop
body.
the fight.
Elijah Brody, we'll talk about that at halftime. Still keep this one on the ground. It takes a nice high hop over the head of Montoya. Wow!
A couple of yards difference from where everything started here. Searmans drops back. He's got some time. He's going to go forward. He's rushing through for a first down. Searmans, even with the ball being threatened, he's still moving. Can anything stop this kid? He's up to the 3-yard line, a 24-yard game on third down.
Keep going. They're throwing. They're throwing. They're throwing. They're letting their hands go.
New set of downs. Armenta quickly. Oh, what a ball. He's got to find his man, and he does. Touchdown, Sanchez. Wide open. Love the play design there.
False starts have led to a first down and 20 for the Tigers. Searmans will hold on to it. He's unleashing this one, looking for Baca in the end zone. Touchdown. And you cannot count out the Tigers as they flip the field. I think we might see a pass here as Los Lunas has a lot of men stacked inside. He lets it go before being hit and sliding down, intercepted. That's going to be a slip, and the Los Lunas Tigers will get this ball back on the play. It's Dominic Trujillo. Loss of 8 earlier kind of slowed down his momentum. Hunter Garcia back. He's going to unleash, and could be another interception. It is. It's the same man, Dominic Trujillo.
From his defense.
Oh no, especially as well as Rio Rancho was tackled thus
To
far.
Bowie, he gets free towards the sideline. See you later. Touchdown, Gabriel Bowie. Armenta, 3rd and long. He's been under pressure a lot. This one is up for grabs. A horrible throw, and it is going to go all the way for the interception and touchdown. Rams on the board first.
Looks like he wants to end this one. Oh, he knocks down Cordes with the left hook to start around 4.